You're listening to the Sales Success Stories podcast, where we deconstruct world-class sales performers to provide insights and strategies to help you improve. To learn more, visit us at top1.fm. Here's your host, Scott Ingram.
Today on the podcast, I have the 9th sample story in our series from the upcoming book, Sales Success Stories, 60 stories from 20 top 1% sales professionals for you. Our official publication date is just 2 weeks away on October 16th, and right now we're finishing all of the editing on the audio recordings for the audiobook. Just like with Phil's story today, each story in the audiobook is read by that story's author, so you can literally hear it in their own words. All of these sample story episodes are brought to you thanks to the generous support of Story Dimensions. Story Dimensions is a SaaS sales enablement company and the only solution that captures and packages real stories from your customers into easy to digest and deliver formats that sales professionals can use to build credibility and trust with their buyers. Check out their new website at storydimensions.com, where you can schedule a live demo and see how you can open more doors, accelerate your sales cycles, and close more deals. Now, here's Phil Terrill with one of his stories.
My name is Phil Terrill. After becoming the top U.S. corporate account manager in inside sales at Microsoft, I moved into our global sales innovation group to help enable hundreds of sellers across the organization. You can find my conversation with Scott on the podcast in episode 39, and I'm writing my first self-help book, Collision Course, 4 F's to transform life's challenges into massive, powerful breakthroughs. Here's story number 48. F the status quo, do you. Selling technology can appear to most like playing in the Super Bowl or explaining quantum computing to your grandparents. It is high pressure and requires a level of finesse unlike many industries today. Selling at Microsoft may be even more complex given our commitment to the cloud race and empowering every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. Our CEO, Satya Nadella, shared a powerful quote when taking over as Microsoft's 3rd company leader, in that our industry does not respect tradition, it only respects innovation. As I started to reflect on this quote, I realized that executing against such an idealistic assumption would be more inspiring than I imagined 3 years later. Scott Ingram's Sales Success Stories podcast actually provided a fantastic opportunity to rationalize what I could not see so long ago by thinking about what made me successful as a seller at Microsoft. At first glance, given the above title, this may not be a welcoming part of the book. However, I wanted to be honest with you as this piece of the story unfolds. When I started my career at Microsoft, I was selling cloud services to small to medium or SMB-sized customers looking to make a really small yet significant dent in our total share of the market. A year later, I found myself sitting at the computer screen in Fargo, North Dakota, trying to figure out how I was going to manage a new territory and grow my $8,422,814 quota. It was not about the new number or the 168 accounts, but the reality that Microsoft was investing in my abilities to deliver value back to the company by truly empowering customers to achieve more. After a little bit of time, I realized that the path forward was really simple. Do you. Now, before you keep reading or listening, do you does not mean just go completely rogue and forget you received a fantastic upbringing that embedded common sense into your DNA. However, in the sales game, sellers really have to figure out how to differentiate their value versus a predecessor. Customers really cannot stand the turnover associated with the sales industry, but sometimes this is actually a positive moment for you to make an immediate impact. When I started my business or territory planning process, I realized that I needed to figure a few things out rather quickly that would help me to win and do it my way. Run your business or territory like an entrepreneur, not an employee. This might be the most critical lesson, albeit one of many I learned, that will ensure you are approaching your business the right way. Early on in the year, I had to figure out how to filter through the massive amounts of data along with each customer. I am sure you have to do something similar each year when assessing your book of business. The challenge at Microsoft is that there is usually a lot of data and a plethora of sources. To make it even more complicated, this might be the first time you have ever done this type of research. Treat running your business like you do your personal hygiene or finances. Each component of the process is critical, so take the time to learn your business. Many sellers think of this as territory planning, the time spent to meet your new accounts, assess gaps to quota, and then go sell to your customers. In the corporate space at Microsoft, I found my planning to be similar to running a business or building a new company. For example, think of a startup. Every startup or new business requires resources, the ingestion of capital, an intelligent plan, and customers. To help break this down, I'm going to share 7 steps that I leverage to support my efforts in being a top-selling rep. These few tips will help you make it through so you can start selling at a high level. Step 1, evaluate your annuity business. The annuity business is very critical as these are existing customers on current contracts that are either providing annual revenue or have a propensity for greater upsides at renewal time. Take these accounts and relationships extremely serious, as annuity customers have typically committed to your company's solution. That commitment could be an opportunity to expand your solution penetration into the account. In addition, these customers are great advocates or influencers to other prospects that you may be pursuing in your territory. Be sure to identify whether or not the relationship is strong enough to have that discussion, because it never hurts to have your customers talking to other customers about your great work. Here's a hint. A huge chunk of my quota attainment resulted from high growth and strong relationships with my annuity customers. Step 2, identify gaps to target for net new deals. Gaps in your business research or territory planning may be very difficult to solve immediately, but knowing that they exist is critical. This type of information will help provide a direction to navigate when approaching customers. My process included identifying quote-unquote white space or non-annuity customers, evaluating current technology investments, understanding product utilization, and many other factors to help solve for these gaps. What became very clear was the fact that I now had a blueprint for success. I knew where recurring revenue would flow from my annuity business and now could visualize the opportunity in my business for growth. Net new deals are the key to success in any sales organization. Pipeline coverage and health are important when forecasting over the course of a fiscal year. Consider where you can take a risk and pursue some big bets, which we will discuss in step 3. These larger deals will be risk-reward scenarios, but will be worth it if you can pull them in on time. During my time as an account executive, my territory finished with close to 44% year-over-year growth, with the business target around 30% growth due to net new deals. Go after them relentlessly, as annuity business alone cannot help you hit or exceed your quota target. Step 3, establish big bets. Now that you have identified your annuity and non-annuity targets, let's focus on the importance of big bets in your business. These are customers that you want to see massive change or growth for who have a high potential to close in the current year. This approach is about going very deep and across the organization in order to identify complex challenges that could lead to a shift in their processes or operational footprint by leveraging your solution. Identifying these opportunities can be challenging as well, but I will share how I simplified that process. Take an inventory of your largest customers, most disruptive related to an industry, recent mergers or acquisitions, or those you just really want to take a chance at building something special with as your targets. My best practice for each half was to target 2 or 3 large customers through which I could drive digital transformation or extremely disruptive change that positively impacted the future direction of that organization based on their technological objectives. At Microsoft, digital transformation is about partnering with the customer to build a long-range, high-impact technology strategy that aligns with their business priorities while favorably impacting their bottom line. Big bets are very risk-oriented, as you never know what the outcome might be, except a huge propensity to retire a lot of quota while making a great impact with your customer. Take these opportunities to partner and collaborate with your customers. The outcome could be incredible for everyone. Step 4, build an account relationship map. Relationship mapping can seem like a very mundane or tedious exercise, but the payoff is tremendous. I am sure you are thinking about LinkedIn, but that is a support mechanism to a legit mapping of all the relationships that align to your accounts. The value is that you understand the players in your business. This exercise gives you the opportunity to establish awareness to influencers, decision makers, advocates, time wasters, and anybody else that appears to have a positive or negative impact on your business. My parents always told me that people like to do business with people they know, and that is what enables the mapping to deliver immediate value. The power of relationships and genuinely building connections with your business is critical to scale while generating influence at the same time. One of my early lessons as an account executive was that it didn't matter how much I knew, but how much I could build a rapport with people, It was about building a rapport or connection that was instantly received as genuine, so conversations leading to digital transformation could start to move forward. The other lesson is that with influence and a better understanding of the relationships in your business or territory, a better line of sight can be created to new opportunities, leading to revenue attainment. Get started and stay connected. Step 5. Understand business priorities to reduce administrative work. This might just be a pet peeve or because I really found success in reducing the administrative noise in my day-to-day grind. I knew that without the noise, I could go have meaningful conversations with my customers. Building administrative rigor is extremely important as it relates to time management and utilization of energy. These two things should be put into revenue-generating activities and not non-revenue generating activities, such as excessive meetings or social time. When I was talking to Scott, my commentary on this was very serious. I truly wanted to sell and not do administrative work. My process to achieve this was very simple. I asked my leadership what information was absolutely critical for them to make decisions and have a line of sight into my business. Once I understood those requirements, my pipeline hygiene increased and the level of administrative noise decreased significantly. The ultimate results were that I was retiring quota and returning value to the company. Think about ways you can reduce the noise and you will have more focused time to build value with your customers. Step 6. Go hustle and win. Sales is a grind. Every salesperson I have encountered will tell you that if you are not hustling, you aren't eating. This step is simple. Do what makes you great and sell. Each day I approach my territory or business as an entrepreneur and not an employee. I knew that I had already received my startup capital and that the company gave me a territory. That territory has value, and my commitment was to grow that business. Each engagement with the customer was about providing a high-level experience they could share with a peer or colleague. I established clear deliverables and relationships with virtual teams or V teams, such as partners or internal resources, in order to accelerate deal velocity in my portfolio. Running a sales story is about agility and scale. Leverage the experiences, talents, and relationships of others to help you win. No one person can win the war. Step 7. Take time for gratitude and self-reflection. The last step is about staying mentally aligned and managing your energy. This business is hard, and each win or loss requires a moment of reflection. Take time each day to recalibrate so you can win the marathon and not just make it through a sprint. What contributed to my success was that I knew how to recharge my grind to match my desired outcome of being on top of the board. Think of professional athletes or anyone at the top of their game. They train their mind and bodies to be prepared for the whole game, not just a quarter. The other element of gratitude is being thankful to your customers. Allow me to explain this in more detail. Customers are extremely critical in ensuring that you are successful. Be aware of that and be gracious to them and others that helped you achieve a win. You will thank me later for sharing a non-tactical tip. As you leverage these 7 steps, take an inventory of what worked or not for your business. Consider how you can evolve and iterate against these tips to maximize the value in your territory. When you do encounter success, I challenge you to share the learnings with your peers and management in order to make an even larger impact. I look forward to hearing about your future successes as you learn from this book of sales success stories.
Phil contributed 2 other stories to the book, The 4 F's to Building the Right Momentum and I Love Sales, which ended up being the last story in the book. At this point, I hope you'll jump over to top1.fm/book to get the latest and greatest on the book. And if you're not already on the mailing list, be sure you join as I'll be sending out some special details on launch week that you won't want to miss. You'll also find invitation details to the launch party that we'll be hosting here in Austin on the 16th if you're in town, or can easily get here that evening. Again, that's top1.fm/book. Thanks for listening, and make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss next week's interview with Scott Barker from Sales Hacker.
Thanks for listening to the Sales Success Stories podcast. To be sure you never miss an episode, and for an invitation to our sales success community powered by Influitive, subscribe to our newsletter at top1.fm.